All right, what's up, guys? We are back to it. This is Prince Pyramid, and we are on New Zealand, Te War, one of my favorite maps for a little bit of hunting and a little bit of story time. I reckon while we take what's left of this map. I did the missions last week, and now there's just a handful of them left, little outposts and stuff we need to run around and take. So we're gonna try to do that. I'm on this lake right now because I'm pretty sure there was a level 3 mallard earlier when I was here, so we're gonna see if we can't spot him. But yeah, guys, the main reason I'm doing this video is we're coming off of Veterans Day, and I just wanted to give a little bit of background before I just leap into story time. So before this, I did 4 years in the army, and I'm making it more so if you are thinking about joining, or if you're already began the process of joining. Maybe you already signed the dotted line and you already talked to your recruiter and stuff. To alleviate some, because I remember looking up all these videos on what to expect at MEPs, what to expect at basic training, what to expect when I get to my unit, all this kind of stuff. So that's what I just want to be a resource for those people, and do a little hunting in the meantime. So a little bit of background. So when a young Prince Pyramid graduated from college in 2016, I didn't really know what the next step was going to be. I knew I didn't want to just jump right into a master's program, and didn't want to jump into law school or any of that. That was the next step for most people who get their degree in something that's not STEM. So that was where you normally went. But I needed a break, and I decided that what's more of a break from the traditional college route than the United States Army. Yep, that was the first thing that came to my mind. I knew I wanted a break and said, yep, I'll just go in, join the Army. And anyways, the way it starts for everybody, if this is something you're interested in, or hopefully most of you guys already passed this stage because this is the easy part. But the first thing is walking through their door at a recruiting office, and their whole job is going to be to get you packed up and shipped out as quickly as possible. Okay, so while you're there, you're going to probably do. Is that a? Did I see a bird? Yeah. But while you're there, you're probably going to do a little bit of the ASVAB. You'll take that. You'll do some paperwork. They have this little OPAT test where they see roughly where your physical abilities are at the moment, or how limited they may be. But yeah, once you do all that, the main thing, that the next big step is going to be MEPs, and that's where the stress starts to kick in, because at that point you're already beginning this process of joining the Army or the Navy. I have friends that were in the Navy and Marine Corps, and this portion is pretty much universal. So they're going to schedule you a day, and you're going to go in for MEPs, and MEPs is what is it? The Military Entrance Processing Station. That sounds right. If you're going in, you're going to get really good at those. You're going to get super good at acronyms, because I mean, PASS 13s, CQ, SHARP, EO. It's PT test, ACFT, APFT. List. It's all over the place, guys. You're gonna get good at those acronyms. And I can't make a shot to save my life. What am I zeroed at? Oh, that's why he's almost 300 meters away. Nope. All right, let's just start taking some outposts. But what you're going to end up at a ASVAB center, and for me it was what is it, Gunner out there at in Montgomery, Alabama. They're going to wake you up bright and early, and you're going to get in a line with everybody else. They're going to kind of keep you guys together, but for portions you're going to be separated from male and female for reasons that will be obvious later. But bright and fucking early, you're all online, and these are going to be mostly civilians. It's not going to be army people, but they're going to evaluate your medical readiness to enlist. And this is where a lot of people will get denied. If you hear people, "I almost joined the army, but yada yada yada, this happened, this happened, this is normally where they get disqualified. So you're going to get in line, and the first thing they're going to do is they're going to take everybody's blood pressure. They're going to make sure, just to get a baseline of where you're at, because this is a quick way to get DQ'd. You got high blood pressure, low blood pressure, spiking blood pressure. And for a lot of people, you're going to have ups and downs with this because, well, if you're in the Army, you're probably going to end up smoking and dipping. So you're definitely going to go up and down with that. It's just stress, because a lot of times you're in there and the recruiters have told you what to say, what not to say, and you're trying to remember everything. So it may be a little bit up, but they're going to probably, if it is a little bit elevated, sit you to the side, and ultimately they're going to have you kind of relax and chill out for a bit, and then they're going to retake it. But assuming you make it through that, then the next step is the urine analysis, the UA, another one of those acronyms. And if you are, okay, it's unfortunate because it's kind of in a weird part of the day, but I suggest that you do not use the bathroom until it's time for the UA. Because the last thing, and it happens to everybody, there's always going to be the ones and twos. Don't be that guy. Don't be the one guy who gets gun shy and he can't piss when it's time to piss. I've seen it. There's been people in the Army later, and that's crazy because they get UA'd all the time. But even at MEPs, when people can't pee in a cup with someone watching them. And it is a weird experience at first if you've never done something like that. If you've had a job where that was a thing, then maybe it won't be as weird. But like, they are very thorough in examining, making sure you're not cheating. So they will be staring at you, and it's just something that you're going to get a lot more comfortable with eventually. But at that time, you're kind of like, this is really weird. I wish it wasn't happening like this. But do the UA. I would suggest not peeing beforehand. Just that way it's easier. You'll be itching to go by the time you get called back there. And then you'll just pee and everything should be solid. And assuming that you won't know this at the time, but assuming you made it through the UA, you made it through the portion. Oh, we got him. You made it through the high blood pressure. Next comes the vision, and next comes the hearing. Now, for the vision is pretty much similar to just like a trip to the DMV, You're going to be there. You're going to just read the little chart, the AEIO, whatever. And as long as you pass that, you'll be good to go. If not, at this point, you'd be screwed. Later on in the Army, once you get through MEPs, if you fail vision later, then they're required to give you glasses. So if you're just trying to pass, I would suggest while you're sitting there in line, memorize the board. That's how you can just kind of squeeze through there if you need to. But then it's the hearing test. And guys, I can't stress this enough. It's going to be different than what you've done before. So this hearing test, you're going to be in there with about 6 to 7 other people kind of just lined up.
Got some good news there, Hawk.
And
it's looking like I might be able to return to the reserve.
What is she talking about?
Future. Physical therapy's coming along well, and the doctors are optimistic. Here's hoping.
All right, whatever. But they're going to line you up with 6 or 7 other folks in that booth, and you're all going to be listening super close, and they'll have little beeps in your ear. And your job is to press the button when a beep sounds. The problem is your mind will start playing tricks on you, right? So like, you may hear a beep, but it's so faint that you'll think it's somebody else's machine that's making the beep. Or you'll hear them breathe or fart or sneeze or their chair squeak. and you're going to be pressing that button. And believe me when I say there, a lot of those sounds in there aren't people in the room. A lot of those are the sounds in the actual machine. But your mind is going to say, "Was that?" Trust me. Just press the button if you think you hear something. And if you don't hear anything after like 5 seconds, press it anyways because that's the only way you're going to get through. Because I swear that hearing test is it's tricky. Sometimes you'll go in there if you're by yourself, it's no big deal. But when you're at MEPS, the problem is they're gonna have you in there with like like I said, 6 or 7 other people, and they're all gonna be making noises, little noises in their machines, little noises from their chairs and stuff like that.
My queer, bless her
So,
heart, was a big Tarnicore weaver. They shouldn't pass it on, but these days there's a lot of local artisans combining those tried and true techniques with modern designs.
okay, you done talking. So every 5 or so seconds, if you still don't hear anything, make sure you press the button, and that way you'll be good to go for the final stage. And this is the stage that everyone dreads the most. This is the stage where, and you'll know you're getting there because they're going to start dividing up the men and women because it's time for the hernia test and the duck walk test. So what you're going to do is, at least for the males, they're going to have you guys strip down to just your underwear. You're going to be in a room with about 30 other dudes also in their underwear. It's quite the experience. And I think it's kind of they're checking for birthmarks. They're checking for scars that may say that, oh, this guy lied about surgeries that he never had. They're also checking for tattoos to see if you have any like offensive stuff. Which I mean, I don't know what they considered offensive in 2016 when I went versus what they considered offensive in 2022 when I officially left. It is night and day. It changed a lot, but as long as you don't have anything really crazy or like you don't have any tattoos that have double meanings or feel like they belong to some group, then you should be good to go. And they're kind of doing that without really telling you they're doing that. They're gonna have a guy that's waiting in line. You're in line, and a guy's kind of sitting behind the desk, and he's taking you guys one at a time. And then you'll sit down in this big room while the other people file in. And then there's a room on the other side where a doctor's going to be, and he's going to call you back one at a time. And that's the hernia test, guys. And if you haven't had one, it's not a prostate exam. A lot of people like to make it where they'll come out all like limping and stuff, trying to freak you out. But it's pretty much he's just gonna check and make sure that you're good to go. It's not super invasive or anything crazy like that, but it is uncomfortable if you didn't play sports or something. I could see how that would be kind of a shitty moment when it comes to the army. Is now you're in a room full of other dudes that are pretty much naked, and you're just sitting there waiting on your turn to have a dude examine you. Yeah, I could see how that would be very uncomfortable. I was not a huge fan of MEPS either. And then we're at the end of it, and here's the way that you're going to have a little bit of diversion. Some of you guys that will join will want the same day shipping out deal. So you'll do MEPS, and then you'll leave the MEPS station, and you're gone, right? You're going to, I mean, if you're in the Army, you're going to either Benning or whatever they call it now, Benning slash Eisenhower, or you're going to Leonard Wood, that's where I went, or you're going to go to Jackson, or you're going to go to Fort Sill in Oklahoma. If you're in the Marine Corps and you finish this, you're obviously either, if you're on the West Coast, you're going to go to San Diego. If you're on the East Coast, it's not East Coast, West Coast. It's actually east or west of the Mississippi. If you're west of the Mississippi, you're going to go to San Diego. And if you're east of the Mississippi, you're going to go to Fort Jackson in South Carolina. Navy, I think it's done in like Illinois, I think. Pretty sure. Uh, I'd have to ask some of my Navy friends about boot camp there, but it's the Navy, guys. You'll be fine. And then the Air Force, it's kind of like the Navy. Not really sure where theirs is located. I've had a handful of friends from the Air Force, but yeah, again, this is where you're going to get shipped out if you're on that next day deal. I wasn't, so I was do
Size of
MEPs,
chicken,
and
flightless
then
and hairy.
after she's
I
done
dare how they
talking.
became an icon for New Zealand. But I sure do love those little critters.
So I was do MEPs and then head back to the house for, I think I had a month. I think a month sounds right, but you you'll get picked up by your recruiter, same guy who drops you off. He probably has a big ass van where he just loads all these kids in there that are leaving high school and college and moving them back and forth between the recruiting station and MEPS. So they'll pick you up. They'll have you do like just ask you how it all went. Did everything go good? Because remember, guys, for the recruiters, their big thing is they're just trying to get you on a plane to a basic training site. But this is kind of what you can expect at MEPS. I don't know that I left anything out. Let's see, we did pick up bright and early. You're in a line with your recruiter dropping you off. We did blood pressure and UA. That's going to be first and foremost because they just want to get that baseline for you. Vision, hearing, we covered both of those. Vision, pretty straightforward, just kind of like a DMV, kind of like if you're getting your license type of deal. And how hearing will mess you up, but just make sure if you're doing hearing that you click it every 5 or so seconds. Little voice will come up saying you're clicking the button when nothing is there. If you're over clicking it, so just be careful about that. But don't sit there if you don't hear something and just let the little beep keep going and assume that, oh, well, I guess that's off. Because if you do that, you're going to fail the hearing test. Promise you, you're going to fail the hearing test. And then we covered the duck walk and the hernia test, the most awkward portion of the whole MEPS experience. But all in all, guys, I know this is where I at least felt like this was getting real because we were actually doing some military stuff. You're on a military base. You're doing, but this is not the portion where you guys should be sweating it, right? This is the portion where you could still get out of this contract if you wanted to. You could still. You haven't signed anything. You have to be cleared before you can even really be in the Army. They'll also, here's the thing, guys, they will threaten you with UCMJ and say, oh, you're violating the code of military justice if you lie on a MEPS exam. You're not under the code of military justice until you take the oath, okay? So don't let them scare you into, compliance with their bullshit. They're lying to you to try to get you to be 100% forthcoming with your MEPS evaluation. They can't throw you in jail. They can't UCMJ you and put you in military jail. You're not even in the military yet at MEPS. So don't let them scare you with that type of stuff. I know when I first went in, I was a little bit concerned, and my recruiter's like, "Hey, man, it's all good. You're gonna be fine." So, yeah, this isn't where you should be concerned at all, guys. This is the last step before the oh shit, it's getting real moment, if that makes sense. But anyways, guys, I think we'll wrap it here. We'll break it here. And then on the next video, we're actually going to talk about shipping out and then what to expect at basic training. It's changed a lot since I was in, but if we go with what I say here, guys, you prepare for this, then what you may experience when you get there can only be a little bit more relaxed. It's not going to be as bad as it was, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. Well, 8 years ago. Wow, time flies. But yeah, just prepare for the stuff I'm telling you, and then when you get there, if it's nicer, if it's more relaxed, if they've watered it down a little bit, just count your blessings, because it could, again, it varies widely on which basic training you go to. But yeah, we'll cover that in the next video. But until that time, guys, I've been Prince Pyramid, and this is what to expect when you're going to the MEP station. And we'll see you next time.